The alarm rings at 6 a.m., driving into oblivion the wispy, dancing forms of Cheryl's dreams. The 23-year-old secretary resists being dragged toward the realities of the coming workday. Before she can roll over a second time, her mother comes in to rouse her.
Time to get up, Cheryl. You can't afford to be late for work.
No, of course not. Although what the point is, I don't know.
Cheryl joins her father, Bruce Cooper, and her 19-year-old sister, Rosie, at the table. Her mother is serving breakfast.
Just once I'd like to get away with making the same breakfast for every member of this family.
I wish that too, Mildred. Don't you think I get sick of nothing but bland wheat germ, day after day, because of my damned cholesterol? I'd love to snatch one of those pancakes that Rosie gets to gobble down without a thought.
You know perfectly well why that is, Dad. I need the carbohydrates to get me through dance rehearsal.
I'd like to snatch one of those myself. Maybe it'll get me through my heavy typing schedule today. Besides, I probably won't have time for lunch. I thought I'd use my break to drop by Rosie's rehearsal again today.
You're welcome to, Cheryl. I'm really glad you're so interested in the show. It's shaping up really great. But you don't need the pancakes like I do. No offense, of course.
Have some wheat germ like your father, Cheryl. Less fattening.
You don't have to say it. I could afford to lose a few pounds. Okay. Give me the wheat germ. But I'm putting some sugar on it.
The Coopers are a two-car family. Each weekday morning after breakfast, the cars set off in opposite directions. Mother drives Rosie uptown to a rehearsal in Wheaton, Maryland, while Dad drives himself and Cheryl to downtown D.C., where they occupy posts in that section of the government bureaucracy known as the State Department.
Well, Cheryl, what's on the agenda in the Weapons Evaluation Division today?
Come on, Dad. Surely you wouldn't want me to reveal the government secrets I have access to. Isn't secrecy what keeps our offices afloat?
I didn't know you were involved in anything classified these days.
Are you kidding? You think all I do is type operating budgets all day? That's true enough, but I have the secret knowledge that keeps the operation going. Nobody else in that office knows how to set up spreadsheets on the computer. You think it's easy getting those humongous numbers to fall into neat columns and add up?
Take it easy, okay? I didn't mean to denigrate your job.
If I were to quit today, I don't know what you administrators in the main building would do without your nifty charts. And if you didn't have those numbers always at hand to feed to the negotiators, what would they bargain with? That might be the end of any hope for world peace in our time.
Okay. You sure can be touchy in the morning. I just hope you wouldn't really consider quitting your job. You can't afford to do that on some silly impulse. It may not be a bed of roses, but it's a job.
Rest assured, I'll never quit until I'm ready to move up to the main building and take your job. No touching in the office, Dick. That could be construed as sexual harassment.
What's this? The program for your sister's show? Ready to open next week?
Don't call it a show as if it were some kind of burlesque. It's an experimental piece by the Wheaton Stage. If you're serious about wanting to escort me to the opening next week, like you offered to, I must first educate you in the recognition of true art.
The girl on the left must be your sister. I can see the family resemblance.
Thanks. I choose to take that as a compliment.
So, how come you never pursued a career in show business yourself? Or did you?
I did think about it when I was much younger. But as I matured, I realized my talents are more along the lines of an advisor. I'm the obvious person to mentor my sister's career. My folks mean well, but their views of life are too constricted by practicalities. They don't have a real understanding of what it takes to be an artist.
So you think your sister can really make a big splash in this show? Even in such a small venue?
You have to start somewhere. Look, I know that producers at holes in the wall like Wheaton Stage are essentially amateurs. Not that they can't stage a decent show, but they don't have what it takes to lift a talent like Rosie to the next higher arena. For that we'll need intervention from the outside. You never know what well-connected person might be in the audience on opening night.
So that's why opening night is so important to you.
For that matter, so are the rehearsals leading up to it. Maybe someone with connections will wander into rehearsal on an ordinary weekday, like today. I have a mental picture of the man. Gets dreamy-eyed. He's got an artistic bearing, my Mr. Bright Lights. Sharp facial features, full hairline, trim build, well-dressed. He could be a producer, a drama teacher, or a critic. I'll know him when I see him.
How can you be so sure what he looks like?
Well, to tell you the truth, I may have seen him already. I caught sight of someone answering to that description at rehearsal yesterday. The trouble was, he only stayed 15 minutes. Then he rushed out, checking his watch as if he was late for another appointment.
So that's why you were late getting back from lunch yesterday.
Yes, and I do appreciate your covering for me. Especially since I need to ask the same favor of you today. I believe the man noticed Rosie. Her role as the seductress in the love triangle is meatier than the other girls, and her dancing is more seductive. I'm thinking maybe he'll come back to talk to her. If so, it's my responsibility, as her older sister, to talk to him first. To make sure he has Rosie's best interests in mind.
You seem awfully impressed with this Mr. Bright Lights of yours. In fact, your eyes light up when you talk about him. Are you sure you aren't out to impress him yourself? Just a little?
Oh, please, Dick. That shows how much you know about dramatic art. I gotta leave no later than 11:15 to get to Wheaton on time. If you could cover for me again, I'd be eternally grateful.
Yesterday I told everyone you had a family emergency. Should I tell them you have another one today? Or a continuation of the same one?
Use your creativity. And thanks. I owe you one. Excuse me, sir. But I couldn't help noticing that this is the second day in a row you've been here. I've seen the way you study the actors. It makes me wonder, are you an agent or a producer? If so, I'm sure you must have noticed the real talent in this production, the potential star. She happens to be my sister.
Excuse me, did you say something?
I'm not talking to you.
Cheryl revises the speech in her mind to make it sound confident and natural, although a few doubts assail her. She asks herself if Rosie is truly deserving of such an effort. That self-assurance of hers, even Mom and Dad, who's so proud of her, have been known to call it arrogance, grates on Cheryl sometimes. But she believes it serves Rosie well as a performer.
Arrogant.
Would Rosie remember and appreciate her older sister's help once she was launched? Or did it even matter, as long as things worked out? Moving purposefully, Cheryl bends every effort toward arriving at her destination before the troupe departs for its lunch break. She exits the train, bounds up the escalator, and crosses the street against the lights. Checking her watch and seeing it's past noon, she picks up the pace. Rounding the corner, she spots the man, standing in front of the theater, checking his own watch and shaking his head. Evidently, both he and she have missed morning rehearsal. She runs toward him.
Excuse me, sir. Could I have a word with you, please?
I've only got a moment, miss. I have a train to catch. I must be back in New York City by tonight. But it's incredible good luck running into you like this, although it seems I was too late for rehearsal.
Yes, it's very fortunate. I just want to say.
No need, my dear. Here's my contact information. I'm with the Travis Brothers Academy for the Performing Arts on 30th Street in New York. We're very well connected to the top theaters. I must run now. But if you can get to the city for an audition during the next month or so, please do.
Can't you stay just a few minutes longer? Maybe catch some of the afternoon rehearsals?
I've seen everything I need to see here. What I'd like to see next, my dear, is your lovely self in New York no later than 4 weeks from Monday, when our fall term begins.
The producer, or Mr. Brightlights in Cheryl's mind, turns on his heel and hurries away, before Cheryl has time to react to his extraordinary statement. She stands still on the pavement, thunderstruck. How was it possible that he had mistaken her for Rosie? And even referred to her lovely self? What could he possibly have seen in an aging federal secretary? Maybe the remnants of grace and elegance sacrificed to a rather careless diet these past few years? The soul of a dancer, grown stiff with too much time spent behind an office desk?
Why must I return to the office at all? True, it would be proper procedure to take official leave of the agency, but the Union Station stop looms ahead, the point of departure for trains headed north. I'm tempted to get off this train and board one that'll take me to the city of bright lights right now, but would that be too hasty? I've been granted 4 weeks to remake myself into the image of what, exactly? Should I go on passing for my sister, or will I pass Rosie by? I know I've developed complexities of vision and character that she can't match. Not yet. What might I become if I commit myself to a 4-week regimen of dieting and training? The illusion could last forever.
Pardon me, miss. Who are you talking to?
Nobody. Aren't I allowed to talk to myself? Is that against the law?
Cheryl rides her new conviction past Union Station and holds fast to it as she exits the train and boards the bus that will take her back to the office. She manages to hold on to the dream until she reaches the hulking building, and then, it seems the shadow of the great bureaucracy casts a chill upon her spirits. Leaden-footed from her exertions, she reaches her desk and falls into her chair. She holds her head, feeling that this effort to compress all of life's struggles into the space of a lunch hour is just too hard.
Well, how did it go? Did you meet your Mr. Bright Lights, and was he all you expected?
Tell me something, Dick. Based on this picture, do you think you could ever mistake me for my sister? Even if you were in a terrible hurry and only had time to glance at me?
There is a resemblance, but I don't think so. I mean, I like you a lot better. You're not so, I don't know, so theatrical. You're more of a real person.
I'm inclined to take that as a compliment, even if it shows your lack of artistic appreciation.
Watch out for sexual harassment.
All in all, I suspect Mr. Bright Lights wasn't my ideal man after all. I found him, I don't know, too theatrical.
Didn't I tell you?
Maybe one day you'll get farther with me than he did if you make all the right moves. Tell you what, Dick. Suppose you wine and dine me the night we go to Wheaton for my sister's opening. When the time is right, I'll let you kiss me. I mean, really kiss me. You can be my Mr. Soft Lights.